Hello friends, welcome to my channel. In this tutorial I'll be teaching us how to draft a basic bodice pattern, and what you'll be needing for this tutorial is your brown paper, your measuring tape, your ruler, your curved ruler, your marker and your scissors, okay, and your body measurements, which I'll be putting on the screen. And again, I have a tutorial on how to take your body measurement, so in case you don't know how to do that, the tutorial is up on my channel, so watch that tutorial after this video. Let's get started. So to get started, we are going to mark out our starting point. We mark out half inch from here, mark out your half inch and connect. Okay, so from our starting point, we are going to mark out our shoulder measurement, and to get your shoulder measurement, you divide it by 2. My shoulder measurement is 14 inches, and I divide 14 inches by 2. I have 7, so I'll be marking out that 7 here. It's my 7 inches. So to get your neck depth and your neck width, we are going to be using 3 inches. The standard measurement for neck depth and neck width is 3 inches, okay? You can use more than that, but for the sake of this tutorial, we are going to be using 3 inches as our neck depth and as our neck width. So that's what I'm marking out now. For neck width, 3 inches. And we'll connect that with a curved ruler. If you do not have a curved ruler, that's okay. You can use your hand to do this. Okay, you can also use your hand to do this. Okay, just make sure you draw a good curve. Then from our shoulder measurement, we are going to come down with 1 inch and connect it to our neckline. This is because our shoulder is slanted, it's not straight, okay? So this is called a shoulder slant. Get your armhole depth. What you do is you divide your bust circumference by 6, okay? Divide your bust circumference with 6, then you add 1.5 inch allowance extra to it, okay? So let me repeat myself. To get your armhole depth, you will divide your bust circumference with 6 and add extra 1.5 inches to it, okay? So my bust circumference is 38 divided by 6, I got 7.8, so I rounded it up to 8 inches, okay? So yeah, so this is my armhole depth. From there, I want to draw a straight line. I want to know my straight line. So I want my line to be as straight as it possibly can. So you tag this place as chest line. This is our new chest line. Okay. So to get your armhole curve, what you do is you divide your armhole length depth by 2, okay? I have 8 inches here. 8 inches divided by 2. 8 inches divided by 2 is 4. So I mark that 4. Then from that 4 inches, I'm going to come in with 0.75 and mark that out. So from there, I'll now before that, I'm going to divide my bust circumference by 4, okay? You get your bust circumference, divide it by 4. In my case, I have 9.5. That's 8 inches divided by 4 is 9.5. So I'll mark that 9.5 here. Then I'll connect this to here with a curve, and I'll connect this to here. Let's do that. If you do not have a curved ruler, it's okay. You can also use your hand to do this, okay? Just make sure you draw a good curve, a nice curve. Then from here, I draw a straight line connecting it to this piece, and this is our armhole. Then from here, we take our bust point measurements, okay? This is when you take your bust point measurement, put your tape on your shoulder. From your shoulder, my bust point is 11, so I mark out 11 inches. I like to take my time to mark out my lines because I want everything straight and accurate. So mark out my 11 inches. The next measurement we are going to be taking is our shoulder to waist line measurement. My shoulder to waist line measurement is 17 inches, so I'm going to be marking that. My front waistline measurement is 17 inches and my back waistline measurement is 16. So guys, it's important to note that our back waistline should be shorter than our front waistline, okay? It's my waistline. Then the next measurement we are going to be taking is our full length, okay? The length we want our top to be. In my case, I want the length of my top to be 23 inches. So I'll mark 20. For your full length, you can use any length you want. You can use your hip length as your full length, or your waist length as your full length, or you can use your full half length. That is where your top normally stops, okay? And that is what I'm using for this video, where my top normally stops above my hip, okay? Mark out my 23 inches. So when we are done with that, it's time to put in our darts. And to get our dart measurements, all you have to do is divide your nipple to nipple into 2, okay? Your nipple to nipple, you divide it into 2, and that's how you get your darts. So for now, we are putting in the waist darts. So on your waistline, I'll mark my 4, which is my nipple to nipple divided by 2. I also mark that 4 on the full length, and I'll mark that 4 on our bust point. Then from the bust point, I'll come down with 1 inch, and then from the full length, I'll come up with 2 inches, because you can also come up with 3 inches, but I'll be coming up with 2 because I do not want our dart to extend down to this place. Then when you are done marking out those points, you connect these points together. So I'll connect them. Then to get our dart intake, I'll use 0.75. 0.75. You can use half an inch, you can use 1 inch, but I'm using 0.75, okay? So when I mark this out, then I'll connect it to here, like so. And that's that. We've marked out our dart. So we are done with our vertical measurements and our darts. It's now time to put our horizontal measurements. So on your bust point or your bust length, what you do is you get your bust measurement, your round circumference, your bust circumference, okay? Mine is 38, and you divide it by 4, okay? Mine is 38, and if I divide 38 by 4, I'll have 9.5. So you get your bust circumference and you divide it by 4. Like 9.5 here. Then on my waist circumference, I'll be putting that on my waistline. As you can see, this is our waistline, and this is where we'll be inputting our waist circumference. my waist circumference is 32. When I divide 32 by 4, I have 8 inches. So I'll be marking out that 8 inches here. Then I will measure out my dart, what I used for my dart, because I'll be putting it back. Okay, so when I measure what I used for my dart, I have 1.5. 0.75 plus 0.75 will give you 1.5. Okay, so I'll put it back here. So I'll mark 1.5 here. Then on our full length, I'll be putting in my round hip measurements. My hip circumference is 41. I'll divide 41 by 4, and that will give me 10.25. So I'll mark it here. So after marking it out, it's now time to connect. So I'll connect these two. I'll connect this to this. So this is what my basic bodice pattern looks like. Then it's now time to put in our bust dart. And to create your bust dart, you minus your back waist length from your front waist length. So my back waist length is 16 and my front waist length is 17. So 17 minus 16 is 1 inch. So yours could be more than 1 inch depending on your back waist length. Yours could be 2 inches, yours could be 3 inches. Mine is 1 inch. So I'll be using 1 inch. So I mark 1 inch here. Then I'll connect it to this point here. From that 4-inch point that I made on my bust point. That is where I'll connect it. Some people call it the apex or bust point, whichever one. Then I'll draw this line so that when I'm cutting it out, I won't be running at a shortage. Okay, I mark out the middle of this line, which is ½ inch. Then I'll come out here with 1 inch. It's called through-in, just adding extra measurements to your, at your dart leg, so that when you are cutting it out, you won't be running at a shortage. Okay, so this is basically it. So this is it for your front pattern. You saw how we got our neck measurements, our shoulder slant, our vertical measurements, our horizontal measurements, our darts, our bust points, and every other thing. So we are done with our front pattern. Let's cut it out and draft our back pattern. We did not add allowance to this bodice. You can add allowance when cutting it out on your fabric. Just indicate on the pattern that.
Also remember to cut on fold on your fabric. Okay, we didn't cut this pattern on fold. You should cut it on fold, or remember to always cut it on your fabric on fold and add your allowance.
So you close your bust that like this, and you cut out this excess here. Yeah. Open it, and this is what I have.
To cut your back pattern, remember to mark out your 1.5 inches zipper allowance. I didn't record this on camera because I didn't know my camera stopped recording. Then from there you now input your shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches.
And from there you mark your 3 inches neck width. Okay, for the back we use 3 inches as our neck width for the back, so you mark it out. Then from here, and know that my tape is starting from here and not from here, but from here when taking my measurements. So you can see from here 3 inches, from here 7 inches. Okay, so from here, for the back, for our neck depth, we can use 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inches, 3.5, depending on the style you want to make. But the standard measurement for the back neck depth is 1 inch. Okay, but I like to use 1.5. So you can use 1 inch, you can use 1.5, you can use 2, you can use 3, but I'm using 1.5. So it's time to connect our lines. I draw my curve. And then from here I'll come down with 1 inch. This is the 1 inch for our shoulder slant. Do that, and you connect. So the next thing we want to get now is our shoulder, our armhole depth. Okay, to get your armhole depth, like I said, you need to divide your bust by 6 and then add extra 1.5 inches allowance. So the last time I used 8, I'm still going to use that 8 here. Okay, so this is me making sure that my line is straight. That's where my mark is supposed to be. So I connect. So this is our neck depth. So I'll connect these 2 lines. Okay, so this now is our new chest line. This is our new chest line. So to create our armhole curve, you find the midpoint of this line. Mine is 8, so the midpoint is 4. This is the midpoint of my line. And from this 4, you come in with 1/2 inch. Okay, come in with 1/2 inch. Then on this chest line, what you do is to divide your bust measurement by 4. Okay, if you divide my bust, which is 38 by 4, I have 9.5. Basically the same thing we did for the front. That's what we are repeating here at the back. So I'm going to use a curve to connect this. Remember, in the front we used 0.75 to create our armhole curve. Now at the back we used 1/2 inch. So take note on this. Okay, at the back we use half an inch, for the front we use 0.75. because the back armhole is not as deep as the front armhole. So the next thing we want to do now is to find our back waist length. Remember, our front waist length is 17, my back waist length is 16, so that's 16 inch. I'll put it here. Mark that down here. I have 2 inches. Okay, and neck. I like to break my lines like this because I want to make sure that my line is straight. To find the full length of your back, what you do is you get your front and you measure from the waist length. Measure from the waist length from here to here. What do we have? We have 6 inches. So that 6 inches is what you will mark from here to here. Okay, as you can see, from here to here is 6 inches. So from here to here is 6 inches that you will use. Okay, so let's mark out our 6 inches. So you level here, waistline, our full length. Okay. So the next thing we want to do now is to mark out our nipple to nipple. Mine is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay. So I'll place that 4 here. Our nipple will be starting from our chest line, okay? Mark that 4 here. Mark that 4 here. And then connect. Okay, then from here you come up by 2 inches. You can come up by 3 or more, but for me I like to come up with 2 inches. So I come up with 2 inches, and from here you won't be coming down with 1 inch like we did in the front. It will start from here. So on the waist I take in my 0.75, mark 0.75 here, mark 0.75 here, and I'll connect it to here, 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 and here. So this is what we have. From here we take our waist measurement. My waist measurement is 8. I mark 8. Okay? Then I calculate what I have here. 1.5. 0.75 times 2 is 1.5. I will place that 1.5. Okay. Just let me make sure my line is accurate. I will place that 1.5 here. Then on my hip, 41 divided by 4 is 1025. I'll mark that 1025 here. 41 divided by 4 is 1025. I'll mark that 1025 here, and I'll connect this line to this line and here. Okay. And the next thing you want to do now is to come in on your waistline with half an inch. Okay, your waistline. Oh, sorry, for me. Here, and connect this. Bring out your, straighten it out. You connect this to here and you connect this to here. Mark this out too. You mark out your lines, then cut it out. So we are done with our front pattern and our back pattern. So let's find out the difference between our front pattern and our back pattern. For our front pattern, our neck width is 3 inches, our neck depth is 3 inches. For our back pattern, our neck width is 3 inches, our neck depth is 1.5. Okay, so as you can see from here, there is difference. Then for our armhole on the front pattern, we came in here with just half an inch. We came in here with 0.75. As you can see, there you see the gap here. There's the space here and here. Then our front pattern has a bust dart, our back pattern does not have a bust dart. Our front pattern has a bust line up, and back pattern only has a chest line, no bust line here. Okay, just a chest line. Then and no bust dart on our back pattern. Then our front pattern has 17 inch length, 17. Then our back pattern is 16 inches in length. As you can see, this is our back pattern waist length, and this is our front pattern waist length. And you can see that it's kind of shorter with about 1 inch. Okay, then to get the full length of our back pattern, we measured from here to here, 6 inches, and that is how we got the full length of our back pattern. Then our dart started from 1 inch below the bust, but our dart started from the chest line, and our back pattern of course has a zipper allowance. So these are the key things that you should note when drafting your own pattern. And again, another thing you should also notice is that our front pattern is longer with from our back pattern with 1 inch, but if we want to fix that, all we have to do is fold in our darts. When we fold in and our darts, they are now the same length. Okay, can you see that? When we fold in our darts, they are now the same length, but without the darts it's longer. Okay, so these are the things you should have in mind. So that's the end of our tutorial. I hope you find this video helpful. Stay tuned for our next video where I'll show you how to use this pattern to sew a top or anything you want to sew with it. Okay, thank you for watching.